Embers. It's a melter. Melter, stamper, mixer, dawnstone, aspectus, ash, alchemy through fire. Yeah, we're gonna have to do quite a bit of things. Hey Venom, how you doing? Working on some ember stuff here. The ancient codex will have all the information I need. Bedrock may halt your downward advances. It will not halt your machines. The ember bore must be fueled with normal furnace fuel items. Yeah, it's not great, but you know. So I have to fuel that. Even we've already built it, so I just need to work it. Dials, atmospheric gauge, pipes. It is, but I need it to get to the Twilight. You're right. It doesn't benefit us in any way other than getting us to the Twilight. Because in order to get to the Twilight, I need that. So Amber Boar, where are we going to put it? It's got to be close to. Said we can put it here, right at Y level 5. Yeah, honey dimension is what I was just gonna what I was just gonna go do. I was gonna drop off and go to the honey dimension. But since we can fly now, I can also just drop down to Y level 5 and put it there. I've lit up around our portal. I should mark our portal. Really, guys? Where'd this arrow come from? Mark the portal. Because I haven't yet. I've lit up a pretty good amount around here, so I'm happy with that. But I want to dig down. to bedrock. And there's bedrock. So let's go this way with it. I didn't make a excavator yet. I don't remember. What does it need? A 4x4 or a 5x5? Something like that. A 3x3 at Y level 5, right? Baby Skelly. He almost could hit me. Killed him. All of this shuriken just sitting in the ground. As I can. What's this? It's a wither skeleton. Baby skellies are shooting each other. Really? Oh, yeah, after he dies. All right, so 3x3. And that should be 5 up. And I forgot. Can I just place it in there? Oh, yeah. We can just place it down there. So what were you guys doing today? Besides, you were obviously working on something. Okay. Go home. Dump what we can. You had to remove 3 rows of bricks above a door. Because when they installed the door, they didn't brace the bricks. So the bricks were falling, basically. Oh, yeah, we've done this for years. We know what we're doing. Right. The lintel basically holds the weight above the door to keep it from actually falling into the door. I totally understand that. And okay, so you guys sometimes use the solid steel, but in older days, they would use either a solid piece of rock or a chiseled solid piece of rock or some other means to hold it up there, right? This is not something that is rocket science. All right, waiting on this, so get this part. Unless it's going to be like a finished arch or something like that, in which case that stuff all is exposed. Just floating above the door, some dinky piece of steel. Not a good piece of what? What do you guys usually use? 3, 5 millimeter angle? Yeah. Oh, but it'll be fine. It'll work. I think I'm gonna make probably this area over here our embers area. It's like 50 pounds just what you're putting over the door? Or it's like 50 pounds. All right, I'm confused. Yeah, okay. So they were using inferior material and expecting everything to work like it's supposed to. Some people be like that, man. They think that, oh, it's worked before, it'll work this time. That should be a good enough area for our ember. You know who Mike Holmes is, right? They were shoemakers, okay. Yeah, and he's made it his business. He's made a business out of correcting other contractors' mistakes. Yeah. And that's one of those things. Him and his crew going into a house and pulling off plaster or pulling off gypsum or pulling off uh, any type of facade and finding, like you guys found, that the lintel was made out of tinfoil instead of out of steel. I'm just kind of running around trying to figure out what I want to do. Underpinning, what is that? It's something serious, right? Okay, yeah, you say which is serious, but underpinning is like where you're supporting an entire foundation or something like that. Yep, yeah, okay, yeah, that's yeah, yeah. And those are the types of things I've seen. And it's typically because the house is 50, 60 years old and the foundation was made out of uh I don't know. Wow, the efficiency on this is really good. The foundation was made out of, river rock and was never put together right. Wasn't designed to withstand the second story. It was only withstand, it was great for okay. Yeah, see that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I've seen him fix. I've also seen him fix stuff where there's no moisture barrier between uh, exterior and interior, the exterior and the interior, and so the house is losing all of the heat in the winter. Yeah, I've also seen him take a house that you could tell was built up and over the years, consistently expanded over the years. The house was like, I don't remember what he said. The house was like 200 years old. Okay, yeah, the insulation and the wood rot. He is a big proponent of a thermal barrier between the outside and the inside, and spray in insulation. Also, uh, blue wood for any place that is moisture, and cement board for any place that is high moisture. Anyway, he was doing a show. He was doing a show, and the people in the show these don't go here. Were complaining about something, and when they went down to the basement, they found uh, where the original house was. Yeah, which is why they always were wearing ventilators and that kind of stuff when they're spraying it. He, so they get down to the basement, and the homeowner wants to finish the basement, but there's this one part of the basement where it's just basically this wall that was put up, and so they go to pull the wall down, and they find non-treated lumber not pointing, non-treated lumber sitting straight into the ground. And so you can see as you look at it, as they start tearing stuff apart, that it started out as a one room shack, and slowly but surely was built up over time. We're going to need that. Now, wasn't? Yes, it was that. Okay. And then this on top of that. Right. Done without permits or inspections because it was. Let's make this red coming out. Insert on green. Drop those in there. Insert on green. And we start getting these ember grits. which I guess that can be used for power once this runs out. What we're waiting for is these. Okay, so we've got them. Now I want to chunk load that so that when we're not here, it's still working. I hope that works when we're not in the dimension. Right, right. See, yeah, and that's and so you guys are not using, yeah, you're so the firewall is basically to, it doesn't prevent a fire from happening, it just prevents it from spreading into adjacent areas, correct? Block work, right. Yeah, so like I said, they opened up the wall, and the wall just had dirt. And then as they started looking at it, they realized that the foundation, they had no true foundation. Even when they started going around the outside of the building, that the stuff that should have had permits and inspections, because I think the last renovation was done in the 70s, none of the stuff was done to code. And Mike Holmes was just shaking his head because he was like, this whole house could fall down. And so they had to go in and they had to underpin the entire basement. And you could tell that the very first one room shack part of it, when it started out, what, 200 years ago, was just that. It was a one room shack that was built directly on the dirt. It was not even poured concrete on dirt. There was, what do you call them? Wooden posts, not even pressure treated wooden posts into ground sitting on rock with a crawl space under it. So when they open up this walled in area underneath, they're looking straight at dirt and none of it is supported like it's supposed to be. And they've got a 2-story building now that is, almost 3,000 square feet, 2 stories of 3,000 square feet of house, that none of it is supported properly because it all just been built and expanded over the years. That was one of the things that I wanted to do. We are facing north now. If we head north, is the entirety of this world a void except for those? And are any of the, I'm looking for a certain type of cloud to see if we can get the pets, inventory pet stuff. I don't believe that there is any. I think it's all just a void. Right. But so think about this house that's, 150, 200 years old when they were doing it back in 2000-ish, late 90s, early 2000s, when they were remodeling this house. When they called him in and asked him for help. And is the house was built in phases, and you can see how the house expanded as the families expanded. So it started out with just that central little one room, and then everything around it continued to grow. That first part didn't have a basement, but then they on the, maybe not the next expansion, but an expansion after that, all of a sudden now they've got a basement. And okay, so we can find other islands. Yeah, I don't think I need to be that far up. I'm not seeing any of the clouds I'm looking for. The ones that have the uh what you call them's in it. We've already got purple. I don't want more purple. All right, let's just head back home. Head back south. I want another purple sapling. Yeah, anyway, you could see, you could tell how this house was built and that it was originally built without power, and then over time as they expanded it, they brought electricity into it, they brought water into it. But when they opened up that in the basement and they figured out that it didn't have a proper foundation, and they had to go all the way around the house and build a proper foundation for the house, it was just crazy to me. And it was, you know, to me, not being my area, I was like, man, that's expensive. What they ended up having to do to the house. And I also thought, man, it's a good thing he has sponsors and stuff that provide, because that would suck. Yep. Yeah. His what you call it? His plumber. Just what his plumber had to go through was crazy, because it was a hodgepodge system that had to be, he had to bring it up to code. Yeah. All right, so that is a 10-10-10. That works for us. Pass that in there, grab both of these. Yeah, and that's his thing. Do it right. How many times have you guys been called back to a job because it wasn't done right? And then you look at situations like I'm talking about, and I guarantee you those guys at some point had to, not Mike, but at some point, some contractor along the way probably was like, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine," and the contractor won't be around when they need to get stuff fixed. Right, right. Because a lot of people think that that's, you should be able to do it cheaper. So we're not going to pay that much for it, which is crap, man. I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. You want something that's going to last a lifetime? Then pay for something that's going to last a lifetime. You put the money into it where the money needs to be. Yeah. You've had people call you to fix other people's mistakes. And see, that says something about your guys' ability and whoever else's lack of ability. And that's one of those other things too. You can't you can't do anything but look bad if you're bad mouthing other, yeah, if you're bad mouthing other contractors and other contractors doing stuff bad. We'll be right back.